right, thank you for tuning into AWANI. Right now, we're on the topic of fintech or financial technology, where Merchant Trade Asia Sdn Bhd unveiled their corporate card, which is Merchant Trade Moneybase, and it is now Malaysia's first Visa Business Prepaid Card, another innovative product set to streamline expense management for companies across various industries and sizes, and that includes from corporates to small and medium enterprises, SMEs. And as of June 30th, the company has already recorded 2.48 billion ringgit in transactions and is on track to achieve this year's target, which is 5 billion ringgit, surpassing last year's 4.3 billion ringgit. So to discuss further on this new innovative product, which is Merchant Trade Moneybase, joining me in the studio right now is Ivan alias Deputy Chief Commercial Officer of Merchant Trade Asia Sdn Bhd. Thank you so much for joining me this morning in our studio. First of all, congratulations for surpassing those targets, and this year is 5 billion ringgit, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
And first of all, we could start with what are the technical challenges that could arise when integrating this Merchant Trade Moneybase with existing fintech ecosystems that we have right now, and also the banking infrastructure we have in Malaysia. So what are the technical challenges, and also how can we address to ensure that seamless interoperability across all platforms?
Okay, thanks for having me here again. So I'll answer your questions in two parts, right? When it comes to technical integration with other fintech or other systems, the good thing about Merchant Trade Moneybase, that's the product we call it, it is a standalone system. It can operate on its own, right? What that means is that we have already integrated with, we have already implemented this product with, even the smaller enterprises, even to the larger corporates, right? Both of them have the mainframe system or the ERP system implemented, but what you see with Merchant Trade Moneybase is that it's a standalone, right? And it's friendly enough that you can actually operate it on its own. And with today's digital world, a lot of people think that when you adopt digital solution, you need to be integrated somehow. But truth to the matter, in these circumstances, is that you don't have to change systems. You just have to improve your processes, right? So what that means is that the processes within the company has to adjust with the fact that now you are having Merchant Trade Money business to support your payment infrastructure that exists within the company. Yeah, so that's how I will answer the question. Not much of integration that is needed. The system itself can operate on its standalone without interrupting the day-to-day operations within the company.
But how can we make sure the seamless process of this? So some might take it as a new product or innovative new product to actually put into their organizations or process or companies. So how do you make sure or tell them that this is actually an additional product to help the business grow or process better seamlessly? So how do you tell them?
Yeah, so that's a good question, right? Because we know today companies are already making payments for businesses, right? Whether they are using a existing corporate card, but most of them would probably are used to the process of pay and claim, right? An employee would pay first and then claim it later, whether it's using a card, cash. So remember, there's a process that exists. Now, what we have done is that we've created a payment tool that allows payment on behalf of the company using a company's payment tool. So the process of reconciliation or identifying payments, receipts, and all this recognition can be done just through Merchant Trade system. So if you look at how I've explained it, what was done now and what we have provided doesn't really change. What we are improving, what we're just improving is how do we do your reconciliation or even your recognition in terms of payments for goods and services.
And this, in a way, will somehow change the regulatory system. So what strategies can be employed to actually stay ahead of the potential business and regulatory changes that might occur ahead? Yeah,
okay, let me answer this way. I know, while we are big, right, Merchant Trade is an organization that has exists more than decades, right? While we are big, we are also agile. What that means is that we need to adapt to changes, not just regulatory, but also business requirements, right? What we thought made sense 2 years ago from a business standpoint, we all know today it has changed, right? Whether it's because of the MCO that has changed certain behaviors in how we operate, and those have changed. And so the way we stay ahead of our game, whether it's with regulatory like what you mentioned or even business changes, is to have constant engagement with all stakeholders. And when I talk about stakeholders, that includes business partners, clients, regulators, or even our own staff within merchant trade, right? Because they have insights from the ground and even from their peers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, and this platform integrates or helps to not just small but also medium and also big enterprises of different industries and different sizes. So we're seeing that the number of SMEs is growing right now, and that means the number of transaction volumes increase as well. So how does Merchant Trade Moneybase ensure that its platform is capable to support this growing numbers of SMEs?
Okay, so you may be aware that Merchant Trade Money platform is not something new. Of course, the corporate card, it's what we have just launched. But we started off with our individual card where you and I can use it as an individual. So the idea when we incorporated Merchant Trade Money business, we have already thought about building it to scale because we know the acceptance from the business community or even the individual community. We know that our product will be liked and will be adapted to all businesses, and so we have already catered for that. On top of that, we partner with Visa, right? Our card is backed by Visa, so Visa being one of the largest payment tool, payment platforms in Malaysia, or even globally, right? It's able to cater for huge transaction volumes. So we were already ready from the start, knowing that our targets has always been wanting to get 10% of the SMEs to be onboarded with us, right? Or the corporates incorporated in Malaysia to be onboarded with us. Yes, so you can be assured that we've thought that when we created the product, and our product will be able to cater for the needs of even the businesses in Malaysia.
And this leads to my next question, and where how could it will impact the traditional banking institutions? Will it give a big impact, or just like you mentioned earlier, it's just an innovation, it's just an additional technology. So how will it impact actually?
So we're here to complement or to bridge the gap, right? Because we understand that there's a gap in the industry, right? So you're absolutely right. There are existing payment tools that have been serving businesses in Malaysia, which, for example, corporate credit cards. We have all heard of it. The problem with corporate credit card is we all know it serves just probably the 10% of the businesses in Malaysia, right? Mostly the large corporates.
Correct.
And within the 10% of the corporates, only probably 1% of the employees in that corporate are enabled with a credit card, which is probably the CFO or the CEOs, right, to make payments. But that leaves the rest of the employees, whether it's your dispatch, your IT personnel, your marketing department, the void and the hole is there, right? Because they will still fall to paying from their own pocket or requesting petty cash from their company and then make the payments on their own. So that's where we're trying to bridge the gap, right? So I wouldn't say what we say we are disrupting or we're challenging the banks, but really we are complementing and serving where there was no solution provided to this. So whether it's a large corporate where you want to issue it to all employees, or even an individual, for example, influencers, right?
Correct.
And now we know influencers are already business people, and they want a payment tool for their business. Not necessarily, I want to separate what I can pay for business and what I can pay for my personal.
Yes.
I don't want to commingle those two, right? And now they also can apply for Merchant Trade Money business. So those are things that we are trying to solve in this industry. Yeah.
Help me understand better, because right now we already have national payment systems, which is Do It Now and also PayNet. So how does this platform, Merchant Trade Moneybase, actually can effectively integrate with these two national payments, Do It Now and PayNet? And perhaps what are the technical requirements and challenges of ensuring compatibility of these two, and also Merchant Trade Moneybase at the same time, and also to ensure a real-time processing?
Okay. So I've mentioned this earlier. The tool that we use, of course, has a payment provider, or the network we use is Visa currently, right? So every business or every employee within the business who subscribe for Merchant Trade Moneybase will be issued a prepaid business card to them. and transactions are already real time, as you mentioned, right? Because it's Visa, admin or HR or finance can actually track transactions in real time. So as long a merchant can accept card payments, they can already use our payment tool. To your questions of, with the national payment switch, so today we are already a participant with PayNet for our individual QR. That means you can scan on the QRs across country. As long as they're enabled, we do it now. We understand we haven't enabled it for business. The team is still studying, but we understand there are some merchants, right, or suppliers where our client wants to pay that do not accept cards. So they need to do a transfer, right? So the team is looking at seeing whether they can enable or studying the feasibility of enabling transfers from a business to a supplier via the Do It Now network. So
and
yes,
this applies to cross-border transactions as well?
Cross-border
Is it
because
seamless?
cross-border, for cross-borders we're only looking for local transfers at the moment. For cross-border, because it's enabled by a Visa, so then any can accept globally will be able to use the card and make payments. Yeah.
And as well, one of our concerns is right now is the technological advancements. We have AI, but also is about cyber threats. So with the increasing sophistication of cyber threats, what advanced security measures that should be implemented when we use this merchant trade money-based ecosystem to avoid potential cyber threats in the future? Yeah.
So so for merchant trade, right, security has always been something that is in our mantra to ensure we are in this trust business, right? Securing funds and all that. So from a customer's perspective, of course, we have implemented a few things to ensure that continuous protection of our customers' payments or even their transactions, such as device binding, where if a device is binded to a particular, account is binded to a particular device, then if somebody tries to access to that device, it will not be able to do so. Second will be some things like two-factor authentication, that every transaction that you process would require, whether it's a PIN number or a passcode or an OTP, for example, before you authenticate those transactions. So we are always improving. We are looking at the standards that have been adopted through all the financial landscapes, and then we will adopt it within merchant trade as well. Yeah.
Another thing that we have to look at is how this platform can actually leverage data analytics and also artificial intelligence that could actually offer predictive financial insights of certain organizations or companies, and also within their automated decision making for businesses. How could actually this platform helps? Yeah.
So for this, we already, within merchant trade money base, right, there is already an analytic tool in terms of financial spend. So for example, a admin who has, let's say, 200 staff can already check like what payments were made, whether it's for, let's say, groceries, F&B, government related payments, utility payments. That already is in place within the app, and that will help them to track even for budgeting purposes, right? This makes it a lot easier for companies when they prepare for their next year budget to know where payments were made for during the year. So that has already been incorporated within our portal. Yeah.
But this is actually, perhaps it could be the first one in Malaysia, but not the first in perhaps in the other countries in the region. So how do we stay ahead? How do we prepare ourselves for the fintech ecosystem, that we can stay ahead of all the technological advancements? AI right now is already competitive. So how do you prepare ourselves, especially for merchant trade? What are your strategies in the future? Yeah, so again, as I mentioned earlier, we are learning from peers. We have a product development team. We've got a good data analytics team that studies patterns and changes, right? So we work with Visa, we work with PayNet, as you mentioned, and through this forum, we can stay ahead of the curve, and we are agile, right? That means any changes, and the good thing about merchant trade is that we're quite lean and we're quite flat in terms of a structure. So any changes, it's quite fast for us to implement. Is it products? We come up with products right after products. It's really quite
fast, the way we innovate, right? That talks about really the corporate culture that we adopt within merchant trade. So even if we find out there is new technology that has been, tested in different markets, right? We'll be able to take those and implement it if it makes sense with our clients. Again, as I said, a lot of this product, even with merchant trade money biz, I want to emphasize this, that when we developed this product, it wasn't something developed out of a coffee shop within merchant trade colleague, right? It was actually through a study that we have done using our data analytics, where we see our personal cards, which was issued for individuals, were used for business expenses. Right? Then when we did a bit of pattern, we went and interviewed our clients, then we realized, hey, I think there is a need for us to create a product like merchant trade money biz, because there is a gap which needs to be addressed. So that hope that answers your question of us, looking at patterns, understanding the market trends, because trend is your friend, right? So then we will craft out a product which meets the needs of the consumer in the market.
You mentioned earlier that this platform or initiative is to bridge the gap, but how about those who do not have access to these digital tools?
Yeah.
How can you
well, that's a good question. So for example, today we've onboarded a range of customers, right, businesses, from really the kedai runcit, right, a small mom and pop who needed to pay for their utility bills, their quick rent, or even for expenses relating to companies. They don't have systems, right?
Especially those yang jual goreng pisang.
Yeah, correct. So today they already integrated to this, because their idea was very simple. When it comes to their yearly audits, they don't want to co-mingle or to have to explain to their tax consultant what was used for personal and what was used for businesses, right? So anything that's for businesses, just use this merchant trade money biz card, and it's easier for them, and it increases their productivity when it comes to operating to their day-to-day businesses.
So do you have any examples of companies or organizations that have used this product and they have shown a great differences before and after using this product?
Perfect question. So one example would be my own wife, right? Okay. So she runs her own business, and she will tell you that her biggest pain on a yearly basis was to actually sit down with a tax consultant, right, or tax auditor, and explain, payments that were made on a personal card, and which was actually for company or not. Now with merchant trade money, because the ability is this, right, not only can you just make payments for businesses, is the receipts or the transactions that is recorded in our merchant trade money biz, you can upload the receipts or invoices directly into our system. So after a year, you can still retrieve those information, and you don't have to do, your buku 25 or your filing and all that, because everything is stored digitally. So for her, she has improved, because she does her monthly management reporting on a quarterly basis. Within these 3 months, even her tax consultant has said, candidly is that, looks like since I have lesser job, I can charge you lesser, right? Wow. Because I don't have to do a lot more paperwork, right? Everything is so systematically organized in the merchant trade money biz portal. Yeah, so those are real use cases from someone that's close to me. Yeah.
So not only this merchant trade money biz helps to ease your business, but it helps to save time and also saves your money, saves your budget. So what can you say to all the entrepreneurs out there that are still using personal cards for company expenses and also personal card for your own businesses? So what can you say to them?
Yeah, so I think today they already have a tool. The barrier to apply for this card, it's low, right? Anyone with a business that's incorporated in Malaysia can now just apply for our card, and the process is almost straight through, right? So there's no reasons for you to continue to use your personal card. And I know you probably, credit card users out there, you probably, especially personal credit card, will say that, hey, I've been using my credit card and I earn a lot of points, right? And I use those points to claim for my electrical items like rice cooker, microwave, and all this kind of thing. I hear you. But the thing is this, a lot of us loves instant gratification, right? We want those redemptions immediately. With credit card points, you have to accumulate it over a period of time, and then only you redeem. So with merchant trade money biz, what is good and extra that we have, which others don't, is that we have, what do you call that, discounts or rewards where you can log into our website and we will show you, for example, if you're a marketing agency and you want to buy ads on whether it's Meta or Google, you can actually use merchant trade money base, and on top of that, you get a discount of 10 to 15%. As an example, right?
Okay.
So that's a lot of cost saving, right? That's definitely better than your credit card points that you're waiting to accumulate, and you probably only will be able to redeem it at year end, right? There are even travel discounts. For example, travel agencies who wants to buy hotel packages for their tour groups overseas can actually use our platform, key in a code. Once Visa recognizes it, they will give you, let's say, an 8% or a 5% discount. So these promotions are ongoing. Of course, we update those promotions on a month-to-month basis, and so you get instant saving right on the spot. It's good for businesses, more money in your pocket.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I can actually foresee that this merchant trade money base can actually replace somehow in the future, replace our own personal cards.
Oh yeah, yes, for businesses.
And most important thing, no more pay and claim process, that tedious process, and also no more countless hours of wasted hassle to actually list down what we spend, or also stockpiling receipts, and also personal work funds, and also whatnot. So again, I would like to say thank you so much, Ivan alias, the Deputy Chief Commercial Officer of Merchant Trade Asia Sdn Bhd, for helping us understand better on this platform and how can we integrate and also enhance our digital payments and also the financial technology ecosystems as a whole in Malaysia. So again, thank you so much, and you can find this whole discussion on all of our social media platforms and astroawani.com.
Thank you.